You know, hip-hop has always been a culture of conflict. I mean, it's always been about a fight against injustice, a fight for a voice. But what if its biggest battle isn't with the outside world at all, but with itself? Today, we're diving deep into the decades-long war for hip-hop's very soul. To really get this, we've got to go back to the beginning. So, picture this. It's the Bronx in the 1970s. Out of these incredible block parties and just a raw need for expression in the face of segregation, this powerful cultural movement is born. It was a way to speak truth to power, a platform for communities that were being ignored to finally be heard.
But here's the thing. For all those external fights, this central tension that's really defined hip-hop for decades, it's an internal one. It's this ideological war that makes it question its purpose, its direction, and its very identity.
So here's how we're going to unpack this. We'll trace the battle right from its roots and struggle. Then we'll get into the huge ideological divide between hip-hop and rap. We'll see how artists get caught in that crossfire and explore the pretty shocking ways this whole conflict spills over into actual courtrooms. And finally, we'll ask, what does this all mean for the future of the culture? All right, first up, let's rewind to the beginning and see exactly how this local movement, born from struggle, ended up taking over the entire globe. So what started in the 70s as this hyper-local response to social injustice, well, it just exploded in the 80s and 90s. That was the golden age, right? It was defined by these politically conscious artists who were using their music as a serious tool for social commentary. By the 2000s, it wasn't just music anymore. It was a full-blown global phenomenon shaping everything from what we wear to how we talk. And today, it just keeps evolving, still wrestling with those same foundational questions.
And this, right here, is the crucial point to remember. Hip-hop was never just about entertainment. It was about turning suffering into power, and then using that power to help other people. This original purpose is the absolute bedrock of the conflict that was about to come.
So that original purpose, that's where we find the core of the conflict. See, inside the culture, there's this fierce debate that rages over two simple words, hip-hop versus rap. Now, to an outsider, they might seem like the same thing, but to insiders, they represent two completely opposing philosophies.
And the two sides are crystal clear. On one hand, you've got hip-hop. That's seen as the authentic culture. It's all about consciousness, community, the foundational elements like DJing and emceeing. It's meant to be a tool for enlightenment. But on the other side, you have rap, which is often framed as the commercial product. It gets criticized for focusing on individualism, on commercialism, and sometimes it's even seen as a destructive form of media.
And get this, the philosophy is literally baked right into the name itself. One cultural analyst traced the etymology way back to its roots. Hip comes from the Wolof word hipi, which means to open one's eyes and see, and hop comes from Old English, meaning to spring forward into action. So hip-hop literally translates to enlightened action. How cool is that? This quote from a cultural talk just frames the whole division in really stark terms. It asks if rap music is a cultural weapon being used against the community, while hip-hop is the real voice of youth. This is the kind of intense, passionate argument that sits right at the heart of the culture. So, where does this ideological battle actually become the most visible? Well, it's in the careers and the choices of the artists themselves. They're the ones caught right in the middle of this massive tug-of-war. I mean, this is the classic artist's dilemma. Do you stay true to the conscious roots of hip-hop, or do you chase the massive commercial success that rap can offer? It's a really treacherous line to walk. And, maybe no one embodies this struggle more than Jay-Z. In this one lyric, Jay-Z just openly admits the shift. He compares his earlier, more conscious style to the artist Common, and straight up says that commercial success, making that 6 mil, changed his whole artistic direction. It's just a moment of brutal honesty about the choices these artists have to make. And the community's reaction to figures like Jay-Z is, well, it's deeply divided. Some people judge him for what they see as abandoning his roots for the bling thing and just pure commercialism. But then, so many others respect him immensely for his business savvy and the doors he's opened, arguing he's making great moves for the culture, just on a different level. There really is no easy answer here. So you pretty much end up with these two dominant paths. You've got the conscious rapper, like Kendrick Lamar, who uses their platform to directly take on social issues. And then you have the commercial star, collaborating with massive global brands. The ultimate question that just hangs over the entire genre is, can an artist truly be both? Now, this internal debate, it doesn't just stay within the culture. It explodes into the real world with life-altering consequences, and it happens in a place you might never expect, the courtroom.
This is the critical million-dollar question. The stories, the bragging, the personas that artists create in their music, are they just art, or can they be used as literal confessions of guilt in a court of law?
And the reality is just staggering. All across the United States, prosecutors are actually introducing rap lyrics as evidence in criminal trials. Critics argue this practice is deeply, deeply problematic. It raises serious concerns about racial bias and shows how this artistic expression can be twisted to disproportionately help the prosecution's case. It's become such a huge issue that it's even sparked movements like Art Not Evidence to protect artistic freedom.
Okay, so with all of this internal conflict, what does it mean for the future of hip-hop? I mean, is the culture just tearing itself apart from the inside?
Well, what the sources suggest is something pretty surprising. This constant, relentless tension, it isn't actually a sign of weakness or decay, it's the exact opposite.
As this quote suggests, this internal debate is absolutely key. The constant push and pull between its conscious roots and its commercial evolution is precisely what keeps hip-hop alive and relevant. It forces it to question itself, to grow, and to constantly adapt.
So the crucial takeaway is this. The battle for hip-hop's soul is its source of power. It's the engine that fuels its dynamism. It's what allows it to be this global force that is constantly, and often controversially, reinventing itself.
And that leaves us with one final question to chew on. Where does the true, enduring power of this culture really lie? Is it in the purity of its original message of enlightened action? Or is it found in the messy, chaotic, and constant evolution that this internal battle guarantees? The conversation, believe me, is far from over.